Hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Just told my boys to go inside. We've got some place to go a little bit later. We've got some friends to help out on their farm. I think it's good for my boys to be involved like that so they can see how good they have it and how blessed we really are. So I've sent them in. We finished up all the morning chores. We've checked everything in the afternoon. So while they're showering and getting ready for everything this afternoon, I'm out here trying to get a little bit more done. We have to rotate showers and do all that. We only have one bathroom in this house, so we have to kind of plan and rotate shower, bathroom use, and all that. So while they are in there starting to get ready so that Dad comes home and we can be ready when he's here, I'm gonna finish up some weeds. And it's interesting because I was talking about this subject, and I don't even really know how I want to name this. I haven't even titled this video yet because it's such an interesting topic for nowadays, and I think it's something we need to discuss because we can talk about snowflakeism all day long, can we not? And everybody has their own different perspective of what is a snowflake. Well, I would argue and say that a snowflake is a unique individual. All different qualities, unique, different talents. And a lot of different people would tell you that it's a epidemic of our lifetime, epidemic of our time right now. I don't really know where and when and how the whole notion of young people becoming snowflakes really came about. I don't consider myself that old. And so when I look back 20 or 30 years, I really don't think a lot of the issues that we deal with today really were much of an issue then. Now, if you are older than me, you're gonna say, oh yeah, it was, oh yeah. I'm sure it was. But to really evaluate what I'm talking about, I really kind of look at people that are a good 10 or 15 years younger than me, and then anything below that. That includes my own kids. So I don't make this video to be controversial or to discuss any one person, but to discuss our society as a whole. Now, if you live in another country, you may not have these problems. If you live on a farm and you live in a very rural community and you work with a lot of individuals, you might say, I'm not really sure what you're talking about. But I think collectively we all understand that there is a breakdown between generations. No doubt in my mind. I think there's a breakdown between my generation and the one below me. Probably folks that are somewhere. I have a sister that is 8 years younger than me, and I can even identify that folks that are in her age group are very different than how I grew up. I can even see people that I grew up with. It's like they weren't this way at one time, and then now we're in a world of snowflakeism. So I don't know if it's just carried over or what it's done. But I have a concern as a mother. How can you not have a concern as a mother? I was telling my premium group and both of my groups on Facebook, we've had a discussion about this week, about the whole idea of, and we say it in jest, what are snowflakes? What's the problem? Snowflakeism, Snowflakeville. Everybody's so sensitive. Everybody gets so offended. I don't know where this happened. The fact is that truth is truth. And the fact is that there are things within any lifestyle, particularly this one, that you really have to evaluate, whether it's your safety, how it's you choose to can, how you choose to give perspective in terms of work. I've seen people talk about how, those that complain about the work, really don't understand what it's all about, and all they're doing is complaining. No, that's not what I evaluate. What I evaluate is that people that are telling the truth in terms of how much work is involved, how much heat is involved, how much cold is involved, how much money is involved, is trying to warn people before they enter this lifestyle so that they aren't making mistakes. That's what responsible people do. I don't want anyone. If I'm entering a new lifestyle, or if I take on a new type of animal, or if I take on a new hobby, or if I do something that requires my time, my attention, and my money, I want somebody to speak the truth to me about it. So all that I can evaluate is those that don't want to hear it or don't want that spoken. Well, they're entering the world of snowflakeism. We were watching Hacksaw Ridge the other night. I don't go to a lot of movies, so typically we see things when they come out on TV, or maybe we can get a red box. There's no red box here. We have to drive 30 miles to get one, but we might rent a movie. We might keep it an extra day, but nonetheless it's cheaper than going to the movie house. And I was watching the movie, and I had been told and had seen the reviews that it was pretty doggone good. Kind of slow in the beginning for me. I guess my expectation was off, but then we got to the part where they actually hit Okinawa, and they're absolutely in the battle, and they're in the battle of their life. And I'm going to have to tell you that it gave me extraordinary anxiety. Now, I love Saving Private Ryan, and I've seen it multiple times, and I can deal with war movies pretty good. But for some reason, with this whole topic and the whole word snowflake being so common now, and I'm watching my boys get older. I have 3 boys, 17, going on 15, and 13, okay? All teenagers. One in particular is about to get ready for college. Another one is getting ready to start driving and entering high school. I have to say that I evaluated this movie and I watched it. And even with everything that I'm trying to do with these kids, we're trying to introduce them to all kinds of different life skills, get them involved. I'm not exactly easygoing when it comes to chores. Doesn't matter to me if it's hot. Doesn't matter to me if it's cold. Doesn't matter to me if it's raining. We have to work. You have to work. You have to keep busy. Okay, there's no downtime when you become an adult, or very little. If you want to make it, if you want to succeed, if you want to be one of those unique individuals that can truly survive just about anything, if you want to be the Daniel Boone of your time. So I'm watching this movie, and I'm in, there's all the, and just all the things, but that's not what entered my mind. What entered my mind was, how did we go from boys being able to do and be and run into things and do like that across the board of a mass generation? I'm not talking about the few, the proud, the Marines. I'm talking about the masses of them. Where did we go wrong? How have we gone wrong, or have we gone wrong? Have they just not been put to the test? Is there a breakdown in our society? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I think if you went to many of the local high schools and you pulled out all the juniors and senior boys out of there and you threw them on a boat and took them across the ocean and said, "This is where you're landing, boys." Just like old Fred told me the other day. He was up here grading my driveway. And this was after I watched the movie, and we talked about Korea again. And he said, I didn't even know where I was going. My parents were scared to death because I was just a little old country kid. Survived Korea. Can our boys do that now? Can our girls do that now? Remember, you're entering a whole new world where the girls are expected to do, and I encourage you, regardless of what their life choices are, if they end up being a stay-at-home mom, they need to know how to hunt, fish, and love every day and do all the things that you do just as well, because like me, I was so protected in some ways, which is not abnormal, but here I am now with a bunch of boys, and I don't want them to be a snowflake. It's very scary to think about. So this video is not a rant, it's not an opinion, it's an expression of my own concerns as a mother. What more can we do? What more can we do? Growing their own food, milking animals, hard labor. As much as they complain about it, I am pushing my kids into hard labor. It's not every minute of the day. It's certainly not slave labor. They certainly have their time with their friends and their games and their homeschool, and we go places. There has to be a balance. But don't you think we need to keep them super busy? And busy in the right things? So I ask you, so this video is not about my opinion and what I think, because I certainly have my opinion. But I have a concern, because what if something happens to me or my husband, and then we have my children? Who else is going to take them and show them the reins in terms of all of these things? What about all of these kids that don't even have that to begin with? Is that where we drop the ball? Or is it us as adults who have become entitled, who have become self-absorbed, and who have become too sensitive? Maybe we have too much time on our hands. We stand around and we fret about others, we fret about opinions on politics, and we fret about things. I've seen trivial arguments happen all over social media, from geese to breeds of goats to arguing over Young Living over doTERRA, over gluten-free versus not, over this versus that. And I have to say, I often sit and look at these arguments and I go, do we not have something else better to do today? So maybe it's our fault. You tell me, what are you doing to make sure that you are doing the best that you can to ensure that your children, your nieces and nephews, your grandchildren maybe, are not snowflakes? Because while they are unique and beautiful in their own ways, they melt awfully fast. And nobody can survive that. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say below, because I really have to admit to you that as a mom, I think as time presses forward, we've been really challenged as a family in the past year. My husband's health has been compromised. We have just pulled out of something very huge right now. He does not have cancer. The past 2 weeks have been horrible. We've pressed forward, as I always tell you. We have to push forward and carry on and have hope. And God took care of us. But we always have to make sure that we're doing the best we can for the younger ones. Just a lot of thoughts and concerns. So what are some ideas? Let's talk about it as a community. Let's be what we need to be together, because we are the last frontier. Y'all stay good, stay cool, and stay safe out there. I'm going to finish this row. Y'all be good.